I'm Camille Jira, usually known as Goddess Camille with a K. Let me introduce myself. I am the author of Evolution of Spiritual Nakedness, in which I talk about my life growing in the foster care system in New York State and how I arrived at my peace as of now. And also, I am a certified life coach, a motivational speaker, a sign language instructor, and I also have a podcast. And my podcast is called Evolution of Spiritual Nakedness, and I do a blog, which is called um, Growing Pains for Evolution. So I do a lot of things to keep myself occupied, busy, as I share wisdom, insight about life in general. But today's topic on YouTube, which I decided to do, which is a step outside of the box, stepping outside of my comfort zone. So this video, I am going to talk about disabilities turned into capabilities. I know a lot of people, well, majority of the population here have a disability, some kind of disability. And some of them may um, keep it in private, not tell anyone um, because of fear or due to people always mistreating them. And I want to point out that those who have a disability, it is not their fault. And they are some of the smartest, amazing, intelligent people that we will ever come across. And most people who have a disability, they challenge themselves and they look beyond their limitations. And the reason why I say beyond, I say along, because they always look beyond their limitations and they know what they are capable of after they push themselves, and they may have vision a lot of things in their mind of what they always wanted to do. So it's just a matter of taking that leap of faith and jumping out there, putting yourself out there to achieve whatever it is that is desired. And they usually do it. And it'd be so amazing how they are able to do that despite their disabilities. And most times, people don't say they have a disability, they say they have a challenge, because it is a challenge. Disabilities is a challenge of which we push ourselves, and we know that we are our own limitations, nobody else. Only we can pick ourselves up, and sometimes we have to teach ourselves how can we live through this disability? How can we make this disability a work? It's a challenge. So I will share a little bit about myself, which I have a hearing disability. I'm hard of hearing. Many people would not recognize or realize that I am hard of hearing because they usually say, oh, your speech is so perfect, it's articulated, and among other stuff. Oh, you're so smart, you're bright. And I realized that people have a stereotype, a stigma about those who have a disability. Like, it's a judgment, like it's prejudice. Like, okay, confine somebody to a box based on their limitation, as if they cannot go outside of the box. The truth of the matter is, they can go outside of the box. They can go outside of the limitation of what the norm has projected on them. So I'm going to share about me. Many thought that with me having a hearing disability, that I couldn't do a lot of stuff, which is I couldn't hear. They also thought that I would be dumb and deaf. um, that I wouldn't have no aspirations for my life. And I'm gonna give you an example. One example comes from when I was a teenager. I was in 8th grade, and I had a neighbor, and he was sharing with me about high schools because I didn't have my parents, my foster mother, taught to me about what kind of high school to go to, what did I want it to be when I grow up, and so forth. So I have my neighbor, he tells me, he goes to Hutch Tech, which is the second best high school in Buffalo, New York. The first best high school is City Honors. So he says for Hutch Tech, it's only for smart kids. So I went home thinking, asking myself, like, okay, well, Hutch Tech is only for smart kids. I know I'm smart. I know I'm smart. I know I can get into that school. And the reason why I say that is because in elementary school, from the first grade to the 3rd grade, so from first grade all the way up until 3rd grade, I was in a special ed classroom, special education for those who have a disability, who's hard of hearing, vision disability, and so forth. So, but for some reason, I had to be mainstream at 3rd grade because I was excelling at my schoolwork. So when I came in 3rd grade, mainstream, I was uncomfortable being in a regular classroom because I was among peers who were nothing like me. They didn't have a hearing disability and so forth. Because in my special ed classroom, it was so comfortable. We felt welcome because we all had a disability. We all knew how to treat each other accordingly. But regular classroom, nobody didn't know how to treat each other accordingly. It was bullying and so forth. So I did whatever I can to get kicked out of the 3rd grade to get back into the special ed classroom. And that worked. So I came back in the special ed classroom. But I go through the process again for 5th grade. Too smart. We're going to put you in 5th grade, mainstream 5th grade class. All my classes, regular classroom. I was so uncomfortable. I started acting out and so forth. But the teachers knew what I was up to. And they said all the acting out that I did, it wouldn't work. So I had to stay in the regular classroom all the way up until 8th grade when I graduated. So I say that to say because I said, I know I'm smart because I'm in the regular classroom and so forth. I know I can get in Hutch Tech. Because, in the elementary school for 8th grade, they had this projection on those who have a disability that they could only go to 2 schools, which is St. Mary's School for the Deaf and Buffalo Traditional School. Those was the only 2 schools. I didn't want to go to either school. So I said, I'm going to be different. I'm going to apply to Hutch Tech. And you have to take the entrance exam to get a Hutch Tech. I told my foster mother, I said, I'm going to apply to Hutch Tech, not knowing what I wanted to go to Hutch Tech to major in, because there were different majors, but I chose biochemical technology. My foster mother told me, oh, there's no way you would be able to get into that school because you have a long rap sheet. So that's 2 people who kind of discouraged me, already had limitations on me, projected me, already judged me. 1, I'm not smart enough to get in Hutch Tech. 2, I wouldn't be able to get in Hutch Tech because I had a rap sheet. So I said, okay. So I was determined. Took the entrance exam. How about I got accepted to Hutch Tech in first round? Okay. I was happy. Yay! It felt good to challenge those who had low expectations of me, who thought that I wouldn't be able to do this. And I proved them wrong. So, for you, I know if you have a disability or if you don't have a disability, people has always projected their limitations on you as if you could not achieve this and that. But you have to understand that people who projected those things on you, it's because of their own limitation, their own fears, why they didn't accomplish this and that, the third. So don't accept that projection. Don't take that as your own because it has nothing to do with you. It is with them. Now, so through high school, Hutch Tech. So I'm about to graduate. I get to my senior year in high school. My English teacher, I have B's in his class and stuff. And I'm in a regular classroom throughout the 4 years that I've been at Hutch Tech High School. My English teacher, Mr. Banco, I will never forget his name, told me that there was no way I'd be able to go to college. Okay? That I should just go to a deaf school, you know, or work at a deaf school. That I couldn't do nothing. It only could be something that was pertaining to the deaf or hard of hearing population. So I'm like, while he's projecting that on me, mind you, he made everyone in the classroom to write a letter to themselves for ourselves for 10 years when we have a 10-year reunion. I write a letter to myself that I exceeded everybody's expectations of me. And knowing that I have proven to all of my teachers in high school that despite me having a hearing challenge, I will never let it use it as a crutch. So, as I was saying, I never used my disability as a crutch. I always went beyond myself. I exceeded, and I was an overachiever. And I felt that I had to do what was necessary. I felt that I had to pave the way for those who are hard of hearing and deaf. I had to prove to everyone that we can do what they do. The only limitation we have is our ability to hear. But we can hear some things. That's why we have the assistance of technology, hearing aid, and so forth. We are human, just like everybody else. So, 10 years later, we have the reunion.
You're missing me.
And so, 10 years later, after 10-year reunion, Mr. Banco sees me. Oh, he is surprised when he gave me my envelope that I wrote to myself, which was future self of 10 years. And at that time, I had completed my master's in social work. He was surprised. He was like, wow, you got your master's in social work? I said, yes, and I'm a social worker. He did not believe that I exceeded his expectation of what he projected on me. So, as I say, I tell everyone, be very careful how you talk to those and treat those who have a disability. They are human as well too. And they are some of the kindest people that you will meet, okay? And they may need a little help along the way. And that's okay, because you want somebody to be able to help you along the way too. Whenever you need some help, whenever you struggle with something, if we all treated those with respect, kindness, and so forth, humanity would be so much better in this world. But right now, it's like everybody is bullying and so forth, competing with each other when there's no need to compete. We just all need to work together. And usually, I have a message for those who have a disability as well as those who don't. That our disability is usually what help us to exceed our limitations and expectations of ourselves. And I say this to say because most times people who struggle with their disability, they assume that life is over for them, that there's nothing that they can do. I am a witness here to tell you that your disability is like a moving milestone for you. It's an achievement, it's a gift, and it's like special powers because you can help those who have the same challenge, disability as you. And usually, it's what makes us great. And sometimes when we fear something, but we just have to face that fear because on the other side of fear is when we reach our highest potential. It's where our elevation occurs. And it's where we accept ourselves, we love ourselves, we love everything about our disability, and we help those who have a disability. We encourage them, we motivate them that disability is not the end of life. It's to push you. You got to utilize your disability to make you a greater person than what you are now, okay? And also, it teaches people how to treat those who have that same disability. So, all in all, I say this to say be careful of how you treat those who have a disability because you may never know how they can change your life for the better. Because we are some trailblazers, especially when it comes to technology, to make it better for us. It's like an iPhone. Look at iPhone. iPhone, we have hearing aids where our hearing aid compare as a Bluetooth to the iPhone. We can listen to music through our hearing aid without anybody hearing the music or any conversations that we have. Bluetooth, amazing technology. And we have people who interpret it for us while we're on the phone, um, on a tablet or electronics. It's like so many things are happening. And it's, not just for the hearing and deaf population or how they could better communicate with the community. You got also for those who are visually blind or visually impaired. They have, things that help them to be able to communicate with the community as well. And I say, having a disability is a beautiful thing. You just have to be grateful for it and what it could teach you and others. Can you relate? I know you can relate that sometimes it be hard to accept the disability at first because you feel so alone. That's normal. And you may have a hard time accepting your disability because you wasn't raised to accept your disability. And sometimes you have family members who talk about your disability, make fun of it, and so forth, and it doesn't make it any better. So you really have to learn how to speak up for yourself. You have to teach people how to treat you. You have to let people know how you feel about what they do to you, because they won't know if you don't tell them. But if you tell them and set them straight, I'm pretty sure they would take it a different approach. They would respect you a lot more, and they would be mindful when they see the next person who have the same condition as you. Don't let the condition define you. You define the condition, okay? Now, I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you for listening to this video in which I talk about disabilities turn into capabilities, because our disabilities are amazing capabilities. Okay? And never forget that. Love yourself before anything. Again, my name is Camille Giro. I'm a motivational speaker and a certified life coach, as well as author of Evolution of Spiritual Nakedness. Signing off. Thank you.